Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Vinyl Rewind. Today we are talking about the seminal 1970 album Paranoid by Black Sabbath on Warner Brothers Records. It just so happens that this is the Vinyl Me Please featured album for November 2015, and it's pretty easy to see why, so let's get into it. To be honest, there really isn't much of a backstory to tell, as the band started recording for the album just 4 months after the release of their debut. The reason for the quick turnaround is that they didn't want to lose any momentum from their recent chart success in the US, and while Paranoid was released in the UK on the 18th of September 1970, the US release was postponed a few months because their debut was still high in the charts at the time of the UK release, and it didn't really make sense to release a brand new album when your first album is still selling like gangbusters. The US version was eventually released in January of 1971. What's interesting, at this time, the critics all but panned this album. They didn't understand why kids loved it so much, and it's funny to reread some of those reviews, and in the case of Rolling Stone magazine, even funnier to see them eat their words 30 years later when they placed it at 131 on their list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. Overall, this album did much better on the charts than their debut, reaching number 1 in the UK and number 23 in the US. I gotta be honest, I love this artwork. I mean, what is going on here? At least with the first record, it's sort of creepy with that lady just kind of standing there, but this one? What the heck is going on here? It's a dude with a sword and a shield and a space helmet wearing a cape. I don't understand this at all, and I freaking love it. It's like a LARPer who got lost in the woods on some campaign and ate the wrong kind of mushrooms and did a loop-de-loop. You know what I mean? This guy really looks paranoid to me, and it's weird that this was going to be the original cover for the original title of War Pigs, as if War Pigs in this made more sense. I don't think so. This, to me, is Paranoid. You know, maybe in hindsight they wouldn't have chose this, but I love that they did. This is fantastic. Opening it up, you get an awesome picture of the band looking just so cool. On the back here, you get another picture of that dude just freaking out on whatever he's on. I love this album art. It's fantastic. I will note that this is the Vinyl Me Please edition, and it really faithfully recreates the original US pressing. My only gripe with it is that I wish they had chosen the original UK pressing on the Vertigo label, because that label art on those albums is amazing, and it just fits the music, in my mind, a lot better than the olive green Warner Brothers labels. But I understand with the powers that be, you gotta work with what you get, and overall, it's just a fantastic presentation. Alright, let's get into what this album is known for, starting with track 1, side 1, War Pigs. Generals gathered in their masses. You know, this song was originally going to be called Walpurgis, which is a night that celebrates the arrival of spring that is or was observed in some European countries. In the German tradition, it does have some connection with witches, but it's often misidentified with Satanists, which is why the record label told them to change the name. At its core, this song really is a protest song. I think what it excels at is the idea that less is more. The opening verse is just Ozzy singing with a little bit of cymbal, and then in between each lyric, the guitar and bass come in. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah. Just listen to that. I really like how unconventional this song is overall. It's not just verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. No, it's basically intro, verse, ripping guitar solo for a couple of minutes, and then back to the verse. Oh man, you can totally see how this stood out in 1970. Jumping down to track 2, we have Paranoid, the undeniable classic Black Sabbath song. What's crazy is that this song was written in about 25 minutes. It's insane. The story goes is that they needed another song to round out the album. And Tony, the guitarist, was like, well, how about this riff? And the rest of the band were like, yes, that is awesome. Let's do that. And they all just went for it, creating an instant classic. It just shows you how tight this band really was. They fed off each other and could speak without talking. I love what they did with the guitar solo overdub stereo effect. The guitar on the left is muffled, but the guitar on the right is super distorted, almost like a gremlin or a demonic thing. I love the sound it creates. Side 1 ends with Iron Man, and hot dang is this song awesome. I can't imagine what it must have been like to hear this for the first time back in 1970. It is so good. I mean, this is guitar playing 101. If you want to start a rock band, you gotta learn this riff. In case you didn't know, this song is not about the comic hero, but about a man who travels to the future only to see death and destruction. When he is sent back to his own time, he finds he can no longer speak, and thus he's not able to warn us of our impending doom. Now that's heavy metal, Doc. Flipping over to side 2, we have track 2, Hand of Doom. Oh man, so this song was written in response to all these American GIs that were arriving in London after tours in Vietnam. So many of them were messed up by what they went through. They turned to drugs to cope, and this song chronicles what they're going through, and it ends with the message that while drugs may make you feel good in the short term, it's destroying your body, and that's gonna kill you. Yeah, Black Sabbath doesn't really sugarcoat things too much in their songs. Okay, one thing I gotta mention is the rhythm section, as they do not get enough love in my opinion. Geezer Butler on the bass and Bill Ward on the drums are killing it on this album. And I love how melodic the bass is. Geezer is playing all over the place, like he's almost a second guitar player. You guys gotta check them out. Next time when you listen to this album, really listen to the drums and the bass. I'm telling you, it's a whole different album experience. What can I say? This is a timeless classic. You put it on today and it still sounds as raw and powerful as it did the day it came out. The big takeaway for me is that this album is simple yet effective. It is so clean, so economic sonically, there really are no filler songs. It's precisely what it's meant to be. These guys went in there and laid the foundation for what heavy metal is built on. There's no question about it, you need this album in your collection. The music on here is fantastic, and so is the songwriting. They broke a lot of rules and showed that you didn't have to do things a certain way to be successful. Well, that is all the time I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think of the album, and tell me which song is your favorite down in the comments below. Until then, I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. You're still here. Well, I am enjoying a blackjack, which is the paired cocktail for Black Sabbath's Paranoid. It is a fantastic coffee and cognac, cherry infused drink. Highly recommended. If you want to learn how to make it, click over here. And if you want to check out my unboxing video, see what Vinyl Me Please releases are all about, all you gotta do is gotta click here, and there you go. I'm having a hard time trying to talk right now because I have had a lot of this drink and it is all going to my head right now. I'm telling you, this is a strong drink to say the least, and these cherries are looking mighty fine. I think I might partake in a little bit of that. But while I do this, you guys go ahead and click there. Wow. These cherries are amazing. They're like Starbursts. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm gonna bite one of these. Take a little sip. Wow. Wow. Okay, that is amazing. Wow, guys, really, seriously, if you're still here, I don't know why, learn to make this drink. You're gonna love it. That's all I'm gonna say. Click. Go click. Please, click. Click away. I'm gonna eat this last cherry while you still decide what to do. Hot dang, that is good. Wow. That is a mighty fine cherry.